It's 2025. Hello, everybody. It's the Pete the Planner show. First show of the year for our live stream audience that probably doesn't exist today because, Dean, we're doing the show on a Thursday at 1 p.m. That's a high traffic time, is it not?
The ratings are going to be through the roof for this episode.
Kristen, Dame has been on the most sabbatical break I think I've ever seen in human history. Dame, prior to coming back at the start of this year, how long was your time off?
Nearly 3 weeks. It was, spoiler alert, it was amazing. It was every bit as good as you might have possibly imagined it. Waking up, not knowing that I didn't have to talk to,
Kristen, how are you? Do you own a home?
I own a home. I just own the same home that I've owned.
Okay. And no farm animals yet?
No. Well, I mean, not in addition to what there already are. No.
Big Rick Swink, Big Ruck Swink, I should say. Hello. Checked in with me last night on Instagram. Make sure that we're doing okay up here. So that's very kind.
That was kind.
Hello, Dan. Guys, before we start the show, everyone's favorite show of the year, the stock pick reviews and the stock pick predictions for 2025. I do have to share some oddly disturbing news with both of you. I've not talked about of this with either of you. You guys, I've gone down a rabbit hole of content that I need to talk to you about, and I'm a little concerned. I've started reading books on UAPs/UFOs and whether they're real or not. Now, Dame looks like he's excited. Kristen looks less excited. Dame, have you gone down this rabbit hole?
I'm just, more listening to the conspiracy theorists on social media and watching videos that they put out. But I feel like I'm up to speed on where most of the people are thinking or hallucinating, depending on your perspective.
Here's the challenge. At some point, you start consuming it. You start nodding. You're like, wow, okay. And then you find yourself this crossroads of, am I going to believe this? Like, and I'm right there right now. I'm like, I believe in Jesus. Mm-hmm. I believe in Ted Lasso. I don't want to have to believe in UFOs.
Why
but
not?
I kind of might.
Why not?
I don't know. Kristen, there's a book I'm in the middle of called Imminent, and it is about this and all these things that sort of happen. And it's going well. I'm consuming the content, but the author, who used to work for the government, of course, it's all started to fall apart when he was actually seeing green orbs within his home, like phantom orbs within his home. And I was like, I think I'm out, sure, flying egg over the Pacific, I can do that. I can't do green Ghostbusters orb in the home.
So location is very important to you on where you experience this unknown flying object.
Yeah, because his theory is like, as soon as I started working on secret projects, phantom orbs. I'm like, okay, Tony, or whatever your name is. I think I'm out. It's Luis.
So is the premise that like he's an insider and now he's like telling the things that the people should know about the threats within that the government keeps secret, or what?
I believe his too short set. He's there to blow the whistle. I think it's a little bit of blowing the whistle. He's letting people know.
Nah.
Anyway, Craig P. Anderson wants to know where we stand on Bigfoot. And ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's the extravaganza. Everybody have a good break. Kristen, best thing of your break.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Dame, best thing of your break.
Being able to completely unplug. You and I talked about this earlier, but for the first time in forever, just kind of be present and be at peace.
I was in New York City. Flights got canceled. I got stranded at LaGuardia. And may I say, for our listeners, there was a time and place in which getting stranded at LaGuardia was the worst thing that could happen to you. It is an It is the nicest airport in the world now. Stunning. Terminal 3, LaGuardia, unbelievable.
Pete, you've been known to frequent some airports.
Sure.
With your role. Top 3 airports in your estimation in the U.S.
Well, LaGuardia is now at the top of the list. I think Salt Lake City has made a lot of strides here recently, although one terminal is like a mile long. Like, it needs people movers. It's so big. And then the third one, I'm just going to homer it here and just go with Indianapolis. It's really nice. I mean, yes, everything closes after 6 p.m., but it's really nice. Now, top 3 worst, I'd be glad to give those to you as well.
Fire away.
Well, until I think Kansas City just redid theirs, but prior to that, Kansas City was 1, 2, and 3 on the list.
Oh,
It was so bad.
hard disagree.
You know what? I like Minneapolis and Detroit now that I think of it as well.
Yeah.
Kristen, did you think of something that was fun for your break?
I just spent a lot of time with my people, and it just fills my cup. So that was probably the best part.
You drove heavy machinery.
That's true. I did. I drove the Low Pro.
I saw a nice picture of you and your special friend on Instagram over the holiday.
Yeah.
It's very kind. I'm not allowed to post pictures of me and my special friend. She doesn't want to be seen with me. All right. What are we doing here? Are we just going to start with the review?
Right.
And then we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Still getting back into it. And yes, I teased it before the break, but in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a significant announcement. And blah, 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 blah. It'll be pretty fun. Right. Are you ready to go? Are you doing dry January, anybody?
Yeah.
Kristen nods. First time on radio.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
My family got me a drink smoking kit. So it would be kind of rude for me to just say, you know what, I'm not going to use it.
Does not matter. Dame, you got me this bottle of Maker's Mark that's below my desk, but I'm going dry first quarter.
Ooh, wow.
Big Rick peer pressured me into doing 75 hard again. So we're on day, whatever today is, 9 of 75. Not we as in me and Rick. Maybe he is doing 75 hard. I don't know.
Aaron says the new KC terminal is, well, look, you've Chiefs gear on in your profile picture, Aaron. I think you're a little biased on the KC airport now being really nice. But anyway, okay, let's just go. Let's just see what happens. You ready?
Great.
3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. Here's what happens. If we're taking questions, we'll answer them on the air. If we're not, if we're doing our own thing, then you can wait just a little bit. So much so that I haven't even checked the email inbox in the year of our Lord 2025. Joining me, as always, is Kristen Elanius and Damian Dunn. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Good day.
New year, same us. Big year ahead here on the Pete the Planner Show. But as always, in one of our first shows of the year, we handle 2 very important pieces of business that usually takes the entire episode. We review our previous year, in this case, 2024, stock market picks. Who is the top picker? Who is the biggest loser? And then we make our predictions for 2025. So Dame, without further ado, because who loves too much ado, line us up on biggest winners and losers of 2024.
All right, Kristen, is there anything that we probably ought to say before we get into this?
Yeah. Before we get into this, despite what I think might be a surprising year for us here on the Pete the Planner Show, this is not investment advice. We didn't invest in these companies. You shouldn't either. Listen to your professionals in your life, not us.
Well, that is fair, but we do have investments in the S&P 500, but because we talk about the S&P 500, we're not recommending it. We're just saying what we think it was going to go up or down. Just
yes.
That's
okay.
Fair.
Okay. Here we go, Dame.
All right. Well, let's start with the positive. It's New Year, New us, positives, the winners, the best, the best thinking we could have possibly pulled together in the year of 2024. Here's how it all shook out. Pete, you chose. Do you remember who you chose?
Hecla Mining. You know what? I didn't see how it wrapped up. How did it do?
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you. You were up a tremendous 11.8% for the year.
Oh, that's not good. Here's the dumb thing, Dame. You and I both said publicly for years, we'll take 8% all day long.
I know. I'm so conflicted by laughing that you got 11.8% because sign me up. I'm fine with that. I want to do something real quick. I want to go to Hecla. What's the ticker on that? HL, Pete. You are so engaged in this. HL.
Hewlett Lackard.
Yes.
What's the beta on this?
Ooh, that I don't know.
1.89. Okay, so here's what we learned. If you're going to, I don't even know what the market did, but if you're only going to get 11% and you're going to have a beta of 1.89, Dame, that's a pretty big risk.
Yeah, you swung. Yeah, I mean, you took a chance. Didn't pan. I mean, it's hard to say it didn't pan out because you still did okay. But
is a pan out a mining joke?
Could have been.
Okay, continue.
All right. I was next in our order. I chose to fly the friendly skies with Delta Airlines this year.
Canceling flights.
Well, worked out okay. It was up 52.5% for the year. I mean, it's just a little bit better than 11.8%, but 55.2%. I'll take that. I'll be satisfied.
Okay, so now I want to. We're getting into beta for some reason today.
DAL.
1.35 beta there.
Okay.
So Dame, that's a great pick.
Okay. I think I was roundly criticized and mocked when I made that pick earlier, even by a potential Delta employee, I will point out. But it worked out okay. Kristen chose the company that transports our kids all over the country. Bluebird. No, Bluebird buses. Bluebird buses.
What's the ticker?
BLBD.
BBL. What was it?
BLBD.
Okay. Okay. What'd it do?
They were up 53.35%. She beat me by less than 1%.
Nice.
Beta 1.57. She took more risk. And the reward. So for those that are wondering why I'm talking about beta can help indicate the amount of volatility or systematic risk of a stock in compared to the overall market. So when I say, hey, you took a lot of risk, if it's at 1, if beta is 1, that means that you're taking theoretically the same amount of risk that, say, the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones is taking. If it is more than 1, then you're taking more risk. If it's less than 1, you're taking less risk. Kristen, did I butcher that? Because it felt pretty good.
That was really great, actually.
When's the last time I've done something like that on this show?
Probably never.
Did I black out just now, Dame?
Potentially. I mean, this is a totally new you.
2025 is the year of me knowing stuff.
New year.
Let's talk about UAPs. I'm sorry. Okay, continue on, Dave.
All right. So I wrap that up. Kristen wins with Bluebird and buses.
Congrats.
Yep.
Who knew? All right. Losers. I mean, do I even bury? I mean, this is kind of a runaway at this point. I'll go through the formalities. Kristen, you chose AMC.
Right. The movie theater. Yeah.
Movie theaters. That is ticker AMC, Pete.
Oh, thank you. Got it.
AMC lost about 28.4% last year.
By the way, we are not rooting for people to lose money or jobs. Okay. This is just a little parlor game where we say, who do we think is going to have a rough year? Kristen, good pick in the sense that the beta, because this is the year of the beta fish, that's 1.94, risky pick.
Ooh.
And what was her loss?
Negative 28.4%.
That's impressive.
Solid.
Pretty good about that, actually.
I came in with a technical and philosophical pick of Beyond Meat BYND.
Okay.
I'll
And?
wait for that. Okay. Down 53%.
Well, damn, no surprise because their beta was 2.3.
Oh.
Very, very risky. Very risky pick.
And then Pete.
Shouldn't you be using the word volatile? I mean, not to like split hairs or anything, but
I think volatility and risk sometimes are conflated, just as I'm conflating them.
okay, just checking.
No, that's fine. You're the certified financial planner practitioner.
There you go. Well done. Pete, you chose a company that is no longer listed on the stock exchange.
Boo.
Big Lots. That is a BIG ticker symbol, beta of infinite at this point, or zero, because it's not even in existence. Undefined. The beta is undefined. Technically, you could still buy those shares for like 20 cents, 28 cents if you really want some new wallpaper in your house. But essentially, we will consider this a complete loss for Peter Dunn.
And by complete loss, a complete win.
You win
for Peter Dunn. Well, that's fun. I destroyed you guys there.
Yeah.
In one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's a lot of retail that went out of business, as been the trend the last few years, given e-commerce. I'm curious as we get into our stock picks in the upcoming segments, how much we looked at 2024 trends. Are we looking at political ramifications going forward? And we still got to get to our S&P 500 predictions too. I will say this with about 30 seconds left in this segment. Kristen, did you do more research or less research than last year?
I did more research.
Dane, more or less?
Probably about the same, but shading towards less if I did anything.
I did about 120 seconds worth of research.
Oh.
And it's not that I didn't want to do the work. I just had other things to do. Speaking of other things to do, coming up after the break, what were our S&P 500 predictions? Who was right? Who was wrong? And who is Kristen? All that's next on Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. I don't know. It felt like it meant something when I said that, but I realized it didn't make sense.
Pete, when you chose Hecla Mining, do you recall, you told us last year you did a lot of research?
I did.
Did you just look at the disclosures of senators?
Politicians?
No. Why?
Oh.
Because it was popular with one particular senator.
Who that?
I don't remember.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Okay. You guys, I had my comedy show before the holiday on December 20th in downtown Indianapolis at the night of the Notre Dame IU football game.
Mm-hmm.
Were you funny?
No, I bombed.
Oh, you didn't?
Yes, I did. I bombed.
Really?
I hosted the show and I bombed.
Do other people feel that way?
Fair question, and I'm definitely not fishing for compliments from anybody. We had two colleagues, Jeej and Blake, and their people came. They said they were like, oh, it's good. Here's the thing. Last year, I killed. I was great. I'll tell you that. This year, man, not only was I unfunny, I wasn't quick. Words weren't coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I bombed. Now, Danny, friend of the show, Danny Dunn, actual comedian, killed. He was great. But, there's always next year.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You may not get an invite.
To be fair, and no one really cares, I had a stressful week that week. And to end that week on a Friday night doing yuck jokes at a baseball stadium, whatever.
Didn't knock it out of the park.
See, that's better than anything I did that night. And that was terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Just a little.
My son talked me into coaching and managing a futsal team in St. Louis, Missouri next weekend.
What are you thinking?
I'm not.
That was so stern.
I've just turned into this pile of dad that just is like, okay, son, put it together. And then I'm like, I'll sign up. And then I got parents Venmoing me like they're buying marijuana cigarettes or something from me, because I believe that's how drug dealers are paid, or via Venmo. And now I'm coaching futsal, which is indoor soccer on a basketball court in St. Louis, Missouri next weekend for 8 boys.
Does this turn into really just like one of those, hey, you're there and you're the person who's in charge while the players just go and do whatever they want?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, fair enough.
Great. What do you do on New Year? Do you do fun things on New Year's, not Eve? Are you fun? You're not.
Sleep. I get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
You don't have like we do this, or you just a thing. No.
We've done like fancy dinners before and stuff like that. But one of the kids wanted to go to a friend's house, and the other kid just wanted to go to bed, and so that's what we did. Yeah, it's great.
Kristen, you're fun. What do you do?
Well, actually, most of my close friends have very young kids, so we went to their house, but went home before midnight.
Loser.
I'm a loser.
We have our friends in from St. Louis, and I make a fancy dinner.
Ooh.
Had some good ones this year. Had some good ones for sure. But Kristen, I kept thinking about over break. We were talking about what we do on Christmas Eve. I think we were talking about this either. It was a team meeting or was it on the show? I don't know. And you said margaritas and pizza.
Yeah.
The entire break, when I thought about Christmas Eve, I thought about Kristen is having margaritas and pizza right now, and I'm the most jealous I've ever been of anyone in my life. Like, what a great idea.
Yeah, we also did, you know what screwball is?
Peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
I've never had it, though.
Delicious.
Let's get back to the show in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. It's the Stock Pics Spectacular 2024 awards ceremony. To recap, every year on the show, for fun, for entertainment purposes only, we make biggest winner stock picks of the year, biggest loser stock picks of the year, and where we think the Standard & Poor 500 index will end over the year. And then we choose next year's selections as well. In the first segment, Dame did the review for us, and here is where things landed. A quick review, Dame, of 2024.
Great. Kristen, we'll pick the best winner with Bluebird Buzzes up 53.35%. And Pete won the losers, the biggest loser, with Big Lots, who went out of business. So we're going to consider that a complete and total loss, which means complete and total win for Peter Dunn.
Muchos gracias, por favor. By the way, I'm doing Duolingo right now, so I can order all sorts of beverages in Spanish.
Muy bien.
What? Dame, what does the S&P 500 prediction index tell us from 2024?
Our predictions weren't quite as spread out as they have been in years past, but there was enough to crown a winner in our predictions. The S&P 500. Well, let me go this backwards. Pete, do you remember what you chose?
I think 14% maybe.
Yeah, exactly right. 14%. Whoa. Kristen, do you remember what you chose?
10?
8.
And Dame chose like 6 or 4.
And I chose 6 because that's who I am.
The forever pessimist.
Forever pessimist. Yeah, conservative. Mm-hmm. I was a little off. We were all a little off, to be perfectly honest. But Pete was less off than the rest of us as the S&P 500 returned just over 24% in the year 2024.
That's it. Dame, between that and the previous year, 20+ years in a row? That's pretty rare, right?
Yeah, and it's even more rare to have 3 in a row. So just keep that in mind with your prediction today.
Oh, I don't need your help with that. Yeah. That Bidenomics really paid off. Let's go. I'm sorry. That wasn't a shot. It was more of like pretty good stock market last couple of years.
It's all right. It'll do.
You know what's why? I mean, I'm explaining how the stock market works all of a sudden because this is the year of education and me and the show. But Dame, when it goes 20% and you get those gains, then next year you're getting 20% on those gains and it's just that is an escalating portfolio You talk about sequence of return risks when a person retires and you have a down year first as opposed to 2 massive up years. In the end, if you retired 2 years ago, you are loving life right now as it relates to your portfolio.
Yeah, we often talk about saying, you know what, don't get tied to looking at your statements or your balances all the time, because it can just absolutely wreck you mentally. I will tell you, after 2 years of back-to-back 20% return plus years, it gets kind of addicting looking and just try, hey, I wonder how much money I made this month, and going and checking it out and largely being pleased with what you see on a month in, month out basis. I will try and encourage you to pause that activity if you've fallen into that trap, because, well, there's no guarantee that that's going to continue going forward. In fact, I will promise you that at some point it won't continue. So be prepared.
We are now to Kristen's favorite moment of the year on the show, where she embarrasses Dame and I with her stock picks for 2025. Kristen, can you give us a disclaimer before we get started on the festivities?
This is for entertainment purposes only. We are certified in nothing. Do not take our advice.
You guys are both certified in something quite meaningful and related to the financial world, but people should still not take your advice today.
But we are not investment advisors. There is a distinction with the difference.
Oh. Okay, sorry, and it was rude. All right, Kristen, since you won best pick of the year,
okay,
I'm going to let you choose whether you go first or last on best pick of the year.
I would like to go last, please.
All right, Dame, I'm going to let you choose what to do next because you got second.
I will give you the privilege of going first to try and right the ship in the winners.
Ouch.
All right, let me see what this ticker symbol is here real quick.
You're going to tell us what you chose and then why, right? I really want to know why.
Okay, yeah. All right, pretty simple. I'm going blue chips this year.
Mm-hmm.
Blue chips.
Yeah.
ConocoPhillips.
CNCO?
COP.
COP.
And here's why. I think oil exploration and production is going to be a massive instant priority in the Trump administration. And I think with the sunsetting of alternative energy focus, it is going to be a massive, massive year for oil titans. And I believe ConocoPhillips is one that I want to choose to invest in. And just so you know, the beta is only 1.19. By the way, Dim, are we doing this based on January 1st? Or are we doing this based on January 9th?
I think we can just do January 1st.
I'm okay with that if Kristen is.
That's fine.
All right, Dim, you're up.
All right, my pick is a bit of a flyer, and I will explain why.
Delta Airlines?
Nope. I am choosing Vera Bradley.
Oh, as pick of the year?
As winner of the year. They have had some very tough times. In fact, their largest shareholder just wrote a letter to the board of directors saying, you know, this ain't going so great. You probably ought to consider selling your business or taking it private. So what I am banking on is a premium buyout.
Okay, Kristen, I have to do something here, and I'm sorry, but Dame, I have to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Are you operating on any inside information whatsoever on this?
Very fair question. Very fair.
Because they're up in your neck of the woods.
True.
You love quilted bags.
I do. Mrs. Advice actually ran their accounting department for a while somebody was out on maternity leave decades ago at this point.
Okay.
Sorry, not decades ago. Strike that from she's not that old.
She's upset.
Yeah. A really bad choice of disclosure at that point.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
What an error. What is wrong with you?
So much trouble.
No. That information about the largest shareholder writing that letter is public information. It's on different news sources. It's been publicized. So there is zero insider information.
Have you talked about this with anyone in person who lives within an hour of you?
Other than Mrs. Advice?
Yeah.
No.
Did she give you this pick?
No. I asked her actually if she thought I was crazy.
I feel like I'm scrutinizing because I feel like I hate this pick. And
It's a good one.
that's what I mean.
Go completely sideways. Now,
This is a great pick.
I will say it's at the bottom of its 52-week range right now. It's like at 3 something right now. It was as high as $8 and some cents within the last year.
Beta's just under 2.
Beta is, yeah. So it could either completely died. Oh no!
Look at the face in the picture. It's like it's not on our live stream, which would be the entire radio audience and the podcast audience. Mrs. Advice just commented, and she's not happy. All right, Kristen, bring us home. We got 30 seconds.
I chose Flutter Entertainment. And if you're not familiar, I wasn't until yesterday either, but you're familiar with their subsidiaries, which include BetBear, FanDuel, and Sportsbet.
Wait a second. This is blood money.
It is.
What is wrong with you?
Listen, I'm not saying I agree that it's right. I just think that this is what's going to happen.
This reminds me of when a young Pete the Planner in 6th grade bought tobacco stocks. Everybody get lung cancer, but I'm going to get a dividend. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. Kristen's going to come back, tell us why a bunch of degenerates are going to make her wealthy this year. All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner. Dame, that's one of the greatest self-owns in show history.
Special thanks to Mrs. Advice for watching the show on an odd day and time.
I think the best part of that is the face, the lovely face she's making. You could interpret that face as one really staring daggers at Dame.
I mean, she's really reconsidering all of the decisions she's made in her life up until now that involve me.
Here's what's not disclosed about Mrs. Advice, and now I'm stepping into the territory of danger.
Her fingers are poised on the keyboard.
She is a business titan. Like, she's like a big deal, and we just brush it under the rug around here.
Yeah, well, she kind of understands a lot of stuff and is really proficient at it.
What's my road? Do you guys see this weird reflection here? They look weird. Is there a circle
on the wall? Yeah.
It's a blue orb.
Green orb. A blue orb, yeah.
You guys, we have a new next door neighbor here on the 2nd floor of our building.
Oh, you do?
Oh.
Right on the other side of this wall is a prenatal chiropractor.
Oh.
And the weirdest thing, true story. I come in on Tuesday morning because I was stranded in New York on Monday, and so I don't know these people. But it's active over there. I'm in my office playing solitaire, and I hear a baby cry, and I'm like, "Doctor, you're pushing too hard." And it turns out not only do they do prenatal, but they also do pediatric chiropractic.
Cool.
It's called. I don't need to tell anybody what it's called.
Nah, no free ads.
Dan said that's the best callback anyone will have in 2025. I'm calling it right now.
Mrs. Advice taking all the stump stool money in the separation. That is very funny. All right. Kristen, let's hear a little bit more about Flutter when we come back, and then we will also, of course, get into our other picks. Let's start that in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner Show, first year of 2025. Did I say first year of 2025?
Perhaps.
Well, it is the first year of 2025. It's also the first show of 2025. For those that don't know much about the show and just stumbled on it in this moment right here, right now, let's do a little bit of what they call in the biz a reset, which is also Inside Baseball. This show is a personal finance show hosted by me, Peter Dunn, a.k.a. Pete the Planner. My co-hosts are Kristen Elanius. Damian Dunn, no relation, is another co-host to this show. The show works like this. You email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete, all one word, at petetheplanner.com. We answer your questions on the air. The show is 3 things. It is a radio show of which you're listening to right now. It is a podcast, which you can listen to, and it is also a live streamed show you can listen to and watch on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern on all of the socials, except for X. Dame, we're doing stock picks this year. So far, we've made 3 selections of what we believe will be the best performing stocks, and we don't have to beat everything. We just have to beat each other.
Mm-hmm.
I chose ConocoPhillips, the oil and gas company. You chose Vera Bradley, and Kristen, last year's winner, chose Fluffer. What is it?
Flutter.
That's different.
Do you know what the ticker is for that, Kristen?
FLUT.
Low beta. Not a lot of volatility and degenerate gambling. So tell us, Kristen, why you think young men betting on sports is something that you want to benefit from.
Yeah, that's what I said. They had a great year of growth last year, 52%. But I just think that it's an industry we'll continue to see growth in. Unfortunately, actually, we all have our opinions about sports betting here on this show. And the great news is that analysts agree with me. The target price is actually about 306 and the current price is 255. So I think I'm poised for success.
I hated your explanation. It was just too good. Dame, I'm worried about my pick compared to your both of your picks.
You and I aren't too far off in some of our thinking, and we will find that out here in a minute when we talk about our loser picks.
All right. Well, let's start. Since I was the biggest loser last year,
yep,
I'm going to go last in the biggest loser. Second place was
me again.
All right. So what do you want to do?
Kristen, you can go first.
All right. So I chose a company for a multitude of reasons. Instead of taking the Kristen Elenius approach, which is you choose a company you think is going to go bankrupt, I chose the Damian Dunn approach, which is the company whose business model I don't quite understand or maybe agree with.
Your money line.
And that is Sirius.
Sirius XM. Kristen, did I ever tell you I day traded Sirius back in the day and made oodles of money?
You did not.
I didn't.
That surprises me.
Since we are broadcasting on terrestrial radio, our executive producer of this show and our flagship station will love that you think that they're going to fail this year. That's great.
Yeah.
Why do you fundamentally disagree with it?
Earnings per share are down. I'm also bearish on the new car market, which is a huge entry point into Sirius. And finally, what's interesting is that I'm betting against the man himself because Berkshire Hathaway has a 35% stake in Sirius. Ooh. So we'll see how I do.
I thought you meant Howard Stern when you said you're betting against the man.
Oh, that
he owns the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to look at insider holdings here, actually. I think Howard Stern's got to be one of the top shareholders of this thing. Guess. I'm looking. Doesn't appear. Anyway, people love having me look at insider holdings for stocks. Anyway, Dame, what do you choose as your biggest loser of the year?
Pete, you made the comment on your winner that you feel like it's going to be a banger year for traditional energy sources, where I tend to agree with you. So that led me to think about alternative energy sources that I think are potentially going to struggle, and trying to find a company that's already not doing so hot wasn't too terribly hard. I went with Solar Edge Technologies. They are, as you would expect, a solar panel company that has had some ups and downs. The analysts are out on them largely. Price target much lower than what they are right now. And with the administration that's coming in, I just don't think there's going to be a lot of support. And if there's any way possible, I think they will take away any subsidies they might be possibly receiving, speeding up the slide on the stock price. So Solar Edge Technologies, I don't think alternative energies are going to have a great next few years.
I think all three of us chose to go what's the next. Well, Kristen, I'm putting words in your mouth, so feel free to correct me. I think we're looking at the next presidential administration, and we're saying how will those policies impact the economy and the market at large? I know Dames just did that. I'm about to do that. Kristen, you sort of did that indirectly with you not feeling hot about the new car market, right?
Yeah. And just about like interest rates and things like that. So I don't know if it's yes, I guess sort of administration specific, but yeah, I thought globally and then niched that down.
Okay. Here's my pick. I'm a loser. Everyone knows this. I am one of the biggest losers you've ever encountered. Last year, I chose Big Lots. It went out of business. This year, I do not believe My Choice will go out of business. That is not my strategy. It is more in the realm of Kristen's strategy, but it's a more direct approach to Kristen's strategy. General Motors is who I'm choosing to have a brutal year. This is not investment advice. And yes, I realize that I'm now in the crosshairs of lots of hardworking Americans. I just think the tariffs, I think interest rates, and some other factors, inflation, will lead to a rough sales year for General Motors. Kristen felt this way too, but she's a coward and chose the indirect approach of choosing a satellite radio company that plugs into these new cars that aren't going to sell. So that is what it is to be bold.
Ooh.
Interesting. Now, was there a particular reason you chose GM over another domestic Ford? Because I full disclosure,
I thought about Ford.
I've thought about Ford as well.
I wish I could give you a good answer. I don't have one.
Your 120 seconds of preparation didn't. Okay, that's fair.
I split them 40 seconds equally, and that was the 40 seconds. That's what I came up with. All right. We got 2 minutes left to make our S&P 500 predictions of the year. Once again, I won that one.
Yep.
How? That's crazy. I'll go last. Who got second?
That'd be
Kristen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, what do you want to do?
I want to go second. I want Damien to go first.
All right, Dame. What do you got?
I traditionally, as everybody knows, have had a very conservative approach to what I think the stock market, the S&P 500 in this case, is going to return. There will be no change this year.
Shocking.
I'll be conservative again. I'm going to say I'm talking myself out of certain things. I will say 8%.
What? Wait a second. You just said you're going to be conservative, and that's more aggressive than last year.
I know.
Kristen?
Well, it's just so hard to think that the market's going to return like that again, but I thought that last year too. So I'm going to be a little more aggressive maybe than I was last year. I'm going with 12.
Ooh. I'm going more conservative than last year, which is shocking. Actually, it is shocking. Going 11. This is going to be a tight one. There is going to be a clear winner this year.
With everybody's prognostications in on the S&P 500, does anybody want to change theirs?
That's a fair question. Can we have a clarifying point here? Obviously, if it's in the 11s, I win, or if it's 11.51, does Kristen win?
You got it. 11.51. It rounds up.
And if you don't get you do get everything below 8.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just split the difference between 8 and 11.
Yeah.
Fair.
Closest. Yeah.
All right. Check back every quarter, but listen every week right here on the Big Blah Show. Coming up after the break, the first biggest waste of money of the week, of the year. And of course, the news as read by one Damien Andrew Dunn, older this year, refreshed from a sabbatical and ready to get you to know what you need to know heading into your weekend. I'm Pete the Planner. Dame, you ever have a financial conversation with one of your offspring that is so stupid that you're just paralyzed with shame? Because I had one of those at a shoe store in downtown Manhattan last week with my son.
Mm-hmm.
My son has no money. Okay, let's just put that out. He's 12. He's got $47. Let's look at his bank account. Is this bad?
No,
Hilarious.
This is his checking account.
I'm assuming joint account.
$42.68.
Okay.
Now he has savings accounts, but he's not allowed to access those, right? $42.68. We're at a shoe store just off of Times Square.
So inexpensive.
Right. And he picks up a shoe where the boys are sort of hanging out. He looks at it. He goes, it's on sale. And I was like, okay. I said, everything here is on sale. And he said, it's only $100. And I said, Theodore, you don't have $100. Only is not an appropriate word. There is no circumstance. And when you have less money than the amount that is being asked to be spent, can you say the word only? You must say, by God, this is $100. Like, that was a moment that I did not cherish with him.
Yeah, I mean, my kids are the same age where they have opinions on what they want to buy and they think they have dollars to pay for stuff. And somehow they keep coming up with dollars. I'm not entirely sure how that happens, but man, if my son doesn't bring me cash when he says I need some new V-Bucks for Fortnite.
We've been down that road. Kristen, do your dogs ask for anything? Oh, I can see one in the background.
I was going to say she just sat up and I was about to say a word that would like make her.
She begs for treats.
She does.
Treats.
Don't, because she'll run to the hallway closet.
Okay. All right, Dame. Are we ready for the last segment of the year? And by the last segment of the year, I mean the last segment of the first show of the year.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
Looking forward to the biggest waste of money.
It's okay.
No.
I'm sure I'll be the same guesser I was in 24.
Let me get ready for that, though, by the way.
You improved a lot this last year.
She did, except the last show of the year, Dame, which you weren't on. Holy crap.
It was so bad.
It was embarrassing. Like,
I don't like multiplying by 10. I don't even think got me there. Like
what? I'll have to go back and watch.
Kristen, I got an email from a family member of yours disowning you after that show.
I wouldn't be surprised.
In 3, 2, 1. This week's waste of money of the week, right here on the Pete the Planner show, is the RBT Champagne Saber. A new year brings new hope. Time out.
Granted.
Dame, that's a Star Wars title.
The RBT Champagne Saber?
No. And leaving behind 2020 should make us all want to celebrate. Time out.
What? How old is this?
Who wrote this copy? This is from 3 weeks ago. It's 2025, baby. We don't count in fives. To ring in the new year properly or to start any celebration, using a champagne saber like this one ensures it will be memorable. Yeah, that's for sure. Forged from premium materials in employing a modern design. Can I get another timeout? I know I've gone 3 timeouts in the description.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're going where I'm going.
If you say premium materials, I guarantee they're not premium materials because you would name the material.
Like aluminium.
Yeah, it's like made from natural chicken product. This saber is a perfect option for your special occasion. Each one offers ergonomic handles for ease of use and comes with a beautiful black steel stand for display in between uses. To begin, Kristen, are you a champagne sparkles drinker?
No, I'm not. And can I confess, I don't even get what this is.
Okay. Dame, are you a champagne sparkle drinker?
Only for breakfast.
Yeah. All right. I happen to love very good champagne. I love it. It's delicious. A saber is meant to, I'll grab this whiskey bottle below so I can show you how.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I will grab this pen. And by the way, all the people on the radio and the podcast, you're going to have to go to youtube.com/Pete the Planner and watch this playback, minute 48:29. Okay. So Kristen, this is my bottle of champagne. Okay. And instead of taking the foil off and then twisting the cage and then taking a towel and slowly popping the cork like a civilized human would do.
Right.
When you saber champagne, you go down the seam in the glass. You rub it like this, and then you go up, and then the saber catches the lip, like the shoulder, if you will, the champagne, and it pops off glass, the cage, the cork, everything. And then you've got, sharp broken glass that you then pour champagne out of. But that is what a champagne saber is. How much is this one? Because it's made of premium materials.
Right. So it's perfectly useless. It is, gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so bad at this. It is $150.
All right. Dame?
I was going to say $175.
Well, new year, new Kristen. It is $150.
No way.
Yeah, Kristen, congratulations.
New year.
New year, new you. There you go. All right, Dane, what is in the news this week?
A 608-pound bluefin tuna, which is equivalent to the size of, allegedly, a grizzly bear, a motorbike, or a very small cow, depending on who's writing the headline, sold for $1.3 million at auction at Tokyo's fish market this week. Only one fish has sold for more since records began in 1999. That was a 613-pound Oma tuna fish equal to the size of a mountain zebra or a grand piano, selling for $3.1 million in 2019. The winning bid was placed by the Onodera Group, a Michelin-starred restaurant chain that has paid the highest price at auction 5 years in a row. Pete, I have questions.
Well, I ate at a very nice Japanese restaurant in New York last week and had some bluefin tuna. So what do you want to know?
Do bigger tuna taste better than smaller tuna?
That's a great question. I don't actually know the answer to that. I will say there are parts of the tuna loin that taste better than other parts of the tuna loin. The fattier parts of the tuna loin, called the toro or chutoro or otoro, is the more prized cut as opposed to just the lean loin itself.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Year of Education with Pete the Planner.
You guys, I feel like I woke up in 2025 and I know stuff now.
I never in a million years was I expecting that answer from you. That was
Guys,
phenomenal.
I'm dialed in.
I'm really proud, actually.
Dame, I'm pretty sure you're indifferent or don't care for sushi. Where are you at?
I actually prefer sushi over other forms of fish preparation.
Sure. Kristen?
Same as Dame, but I'm not picky. I just ate tuna from Sam's Club on Sunday.
Great.
So.
Yeah, great. Lovely. What else is in the news?
With President Joe Biden signing a bill over the weekend to improve Social Security benefits for millions of public sector workers, many Americans may be wondering if they qualify for what the White House is calling the first expansion of such assistance in 20 years. Kristen, I don't know if you've heard this, but I think you are going to be thrilled.
Oh, no.
On Sunday, President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act, which eliminates 2 decades-old provisions, the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset that reduced Social Security benefits for a portion of retirees who received pension income. Biden estimated the bill should lead to an average monthly increase of $360 for certain public employees and their spouses and survivors. The outgoing president said more than 2.5 million Americans will receive a lump sum payment worth, quote, thousands of dollars to compensate for the benefits they should have received in 2024. The bill passed by the House of Representatives in November and approved by the Senate by a 70-26 vote last month will cost $196 billion over the next 10 years, according to the Congressional Budget Office.
I mean, Kristen, I'm happy for those people, right? We're happy for those people, but we're making the Social Security situation worse.
Just write the checks. The trust fund can afford it.
Oh. Yeah, Dame, what do you think?
It's GPO and WEP are terribly frustrating,
And confusing.
and confusing. Really tough to plan around if you are not a financial planner with some software to examine all this stuff. It's just really, really difficult. So I am a big fan of simplifying the process. I also understand why some people would say, hey, I did the work. Let me benefit from everything that's going together. It shouldn't matter if I work for a government agency or not. But you knew that when you signed up for the job as well. And it should just be part and parcel of the situation. I'm not saying there's not a better way to do it. I just don't know if eliminating it altogether is the best and most responsible solution.
That's a rough one. We're going to see some interesting things in the next 3 weeks here out of DC, are we not?
Yeah, I think that's highly likely.
Apparently.
Another news story?
Many Americans are starting 2025 off a little worse than before, at least when it comes to credit card debt. Almost this percent of cardholders carry debt from month to month.
Hey.
37%.
Kristen?
32%.
48% carry debt from month to month, according
Wow.
to a new report by Bankrate. That's up from 44% at the start of 2024.
Yikes.
Those carrying balances, 53% have been in debt for at least a year, which shouldn't be too terribly surprising. Roughly 47% of borrowers said they carry a balance due to an unexpected or emergency expense, most commonly medical bills or car and home repairs. Others cite higher day-to-day expenses and general overall spending.
I love it.
That was
I love
an
it.
uplifting start.
Yeah, thanks, Dame. There's some really great stories this
I
week.
really didn't think I was going to get that far. That's why I just pushed it to the back, because I really didn't want to give that story, but it's the only one I had left in the hopper.
All right, some fun stuff in the coming weeks. We're going to be resetting how the show works for a lot of people as they understand it. New year, new me means I'm going to try to teach you some things that I happen to maybe know. And when I don't, I've got 2 certified financial planner practitioners right here to back me up. Dame, prediction for the year. Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico. Where do we end 2025? Is it happening?
Gulf of Mexico on the maps, Gulf of America in our hearts.
Kristen, I'm not going to give you a chance to weigh in because there's nothing you can say that actually tops that. Dame. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the first show of the year. Sending you good vibes. Good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. Pete the Planner Show. Dame.
That was amazing, Damien.
Dame, that was really good. You guys, I did have a business idea over the holiday I want to share with you.
Please. I mean, everybody else is going to steal it now.
Basically, it's a financial planning website in which you're matched with like a financial coach. I mean, not terribly different from our business.
Yeah, it sounds
Didn't you already invent this?
familiar.
Yeah, I did already invent this, but there's been a name change from Hey Money, which was the name of what this service was at one point. I want to change the name to Only Plans. What do you think?
I love it.
Like, Dame, I could give advice with my shirt off.
Oh,
You know,
But that's extra.
there's a market for this. It's the 600-pound tuna market. You know,
You're sadly not wrong.
I love that there's a market for what I look like with my shirt off, and I don't want to meet the person that's interested.
We didn't, try and quantify the size of the market. We're just saying there's a market out there.
Gosh. Don't want to meet him. All right. Kristen, anything else before we end this whole thing?
I am just really looking forward to what more you have in the hopper as far as the education that you're going to provide the people this year. You've set the bar really high, actually.
I really have. I kind of regret it already.
I can't wait for next week's show planning. It's going to be tremendous to see what you come to the table with.
All right. Hey, for all you people that joined us on an off day, which would be the live stream people, obviously, everyone else is recorded. Appreciate you. Thank you. Sorry to mess up your vibe there. Everybody else, as always, stay getting money.